right now at 6, new details in a hit-and-run incident that left the Auburn Street Bridge closed down last night for hours.
Plus, temperatures will continue to drop tonight, setting up a few dangerously cold days and nights ahead. I'll detail just how cold we get.
And one group is wanting to spread the word during Firefighter Cancer Awareness Month, how they have helped many battling a diagnosis.
From 13 WREX, your weather authority. This is 13 News at 6.
Good evening. Thanks so much for joining us for 13 News at 6. I'm Samantha Soto. We begin tonight learning Rockford police investigating a shooting that happened earlier this afternoon. Take a look at where it happened. Police say the shooting happened near Woodridge Drive and Javelin Drive. That's a neighborhood near South Alpine and East State Street. Just around 3:45 this afternoon is when police said a man arrived at a local hospital with life-threatening gunshot wounds. Right now, no word on his condition or a possible suspect. And tonight we're learning new details about a hit-and-run incident on Auburn Street Bridge last night. Just after 9 o'clock is when police said a man was hit by a car, prompting police to close off that bridge for hours. Police later said that 32-year-old man died from his injuries at the hospital. Tonight, there is still no word on a possible suspect or a description of that car. Let's turn now to the weather, taking a live look outside downtown Rockford tonight. It is a cold one out there, but it sounds like we are in for a lot more cold on the way. Your Weather Authority meteorologist John Jurgens is with us tonight. And John, just how much colder are we going to get?
Yeah, we've got another rush of Arctic air coming in, and that means those temperatures will be dropping even another 20 degrees or so. We'll be seeing pretty much a 50-degree drop from where we were yesterday to tomorrow. So with that dangerously cold weather in play, we have cold weather advisories that have been issued area-wide. That's that light blue shading that you see there. Now, this used to be called wind chill advisories from previous winters. This is the same thing. It's just a different name this time. But we're looking at wind chills into the 20s below zero. This does take effect at 3 a.m. tomorrow, and when we see the different kind of at least expiration times across the area, don't necessarily worry about that because we're in for the long haul in this one. So for the rest of this evening, those air temperatures going to be dropping through the teens through midnight. Those wind chills going to be dipping below zero between about 9 and 10 o'clock, on their way to about 20 below late tonight, early tomorrow morning. But we get even colder than that over the next few nights. I'll detail just how cold we get and how long these dangerously cold temperatures are sticking around ahead in the forecast, Sam.
All right, John, thank you. And this month, we're spreading awareness on cancer among firefighters. So our 13 WREX's Bailey Bozen is here to tell us a little bit more about how one group is supporting firefighters battling cancer. Bailey.
Well, Sam, January is National Firefighter Cancer Awareness Month. For Firefighter Cancer Support Network, they're spreading awareness all year round. Scott Jenny with the Firefighter Cancer Support Network describes the cancer diagnosis as an epidemic among the fire service industry for all firefighters, adding that fires are burning hotter, faster, and more toxic than ever before.
They're inhaling it, they're absorbing it, and they're ingesting it at the fires.
Many firefighters are diagnosed with what's described as occupational cancer. They face a 9% greater chance of diagnosis than the general public and a 14% higher mortality rate than the general public.
All this stuff is turning into a toxic soup, and that's why firefighters are being diagnosed more than the general public now, and dying from cancer than the general public.
Jenny shares that some states' presumptive laws don't always cover firefighters upon a diagnosis of cancer. By raising awareness, they hope to change that.
They don't even get workers' compensation benefits. They only get a death benefit. So they're not able to provide for their family because they can't work when they're going through treatment, most of them. So they're not getting a paycheck.
When hearing that diagnosis, Jenny says it can rock your world. One thing the FCSN really prioritizes is the mental health of those diagnosed.
An hour feels like a day feels like a month, and a month feels like a year when you're diagnosed with cancer. You feel like you're underwater and you don't know which way is up.
Upon entering the network, members are partnered with a firefighter who shares the same diagnosis, furthering the support given. Jenny says one member shared what having a mentor truly meant.
He said, sometimes it wasn't him talking about what to expect. It was just someone I could pick up the phone and call. We're just talking about baseball, or we're talking about the fire department or something. He goes, it was talking to him, that voice. I knew that he had my back.
Jenny says there's one thing that stands out to him to this day during his time volunteering.
Someone will walk up to me and said, 5 years ago, you helped me in my darkest day. And a lot of times we don't know how we impacted them because they're going through a very tough time. That's the best present or the best impact that we ever have.
After their journey with cancer, many of the members still feel the impact of the network and want to pay it forward.
The impact that we have, we may not know it, but when someone comes back and they become a mentor for us, or they want to get involved because we impacted them, that's the greatest thing ever.
More information about the FCSN can be found on our website, and for firefighters looking to get testing done now, because it can never be too early, Value Lab in Dixon is offering a discounted panel. Back to you, Sam.
All right, Bailey, thank you for that report. And as the California wildfires continue, one Rockford company without hesitation went straight to the scene to support those facing the fires. Fire Department Coffee loaded up over 1,000 pounds of coffee, supplies, and more to support firefighters and first responders battling the fires in California. The former firefighters headed out west on Wednesday, arriving early this morning and jumping straight into work. CEO and founder of Fire Department Coffee shares that for his team, the firefighter community will always be close to their hearts.
So to be out here and to be able to serve them and be able to give back and support our communities and our fellow firefighters is very important to us, and it's what fuels our mission. And it's the main reason why we are so passionate about what we do.
And coming up tonight on 13 News at 10, we'll hear more from Luke Schneider and his team on their continued efforts to serve California firefighters. And tonight, firefighters out west are making progress on containing the Eaton and Palisades fires for over a week. Crews now have been desperately battling those flames, and at least 27 people have died, and officials are worried that number will rise. Michael Yoshida is in Altadena, California with the latest.
As strong winds calm down, firefighters are making progress in containing the Palisades and Eaton fires. Of the 6 wildfires that broke out nearly 2 weeks ago, those 2 have been the most deadly and destructive. Entire communities burnt to the ground.
It's just gone. Everything is just gone.
Anne Marie Pazmina lost everything in the Eaton fire. Her entire neighborhood is gone.
It's not just us. It's everybody, and it's so awful.
Combined, the Eaton and Palisades wildfires have burned nearly 40,000 acres in Southern California and destroyed or damaged more than 12,000 structures.
After the fires are out definitively, there is no greater priority than getting people back home.
Many forced to evacuate are still not able to return to their homes, so we're seeing an outpouring of support from across Los Angeles as well as the rest of the country to try and meet the needs of the community.
We were coming every day trying to see if we could get through.
Many of the areas destroyed are still only open to residents for safety reasons and also to keep out looters. Law enforcement officials implementing curfews to keep people away. It could be several more days before people are finally allowed back to their homes to assess the damage.
We will stand together. We will get this job done.
In Altadena, I'm Michael Yoshida reporting.
Developing tonight, TikTok says that it plans to go dark unless it gets more clarity from the Biden administration about the ban set to go into effect tomorrow. In a statement, TikTok called for a definitive statement to assure that service providers that help make the app run won't be hit with those potential billions in fines tomorrow if they keep up business as usual. It comes after the Supreme Court ruled just yesterday unanimously to uphold a law requiring that parent company ByteDance sell TikTok TikTok or effectively be shut down in the U.S. The Biden administration said it would not implement the law, but instead punt next steps to the Trump administration. And tonight, President-elect Donald Trump tells NBC News in a phone interview that he's considering giving TikTok a 90-day reprieve and would probably announce it on Monday. Trump says he hasn't made a final decision yet, but that means the app could go dark for at least a day before Trump possibly grants the extension. And in world news tonight, Israel says the truce with Hamas in Gaza will begin at 8:30 in the morning local time. That's 12:30 midnight here in the Midwest. At some point tomorrow, Hamas is to release 3 female hostages, followed by 30 more hostages over the next few weeks. In exchange, Israel will release 95 Palestinians, including 10 minors who have been held in Israeli prisons. In total, Israelis will release more than 700 Palestinians. As part of the first phase of the deal and as part of the agreement, Israeli troops will withdraw from populated areas of Gaza to a buffer zone. Meanwhile, Gaza's civil defense says that since news of a ceasefire agreement, Israeli strikes have killed 122 people. Well, still to come, climate change, how advocates out west in California are raising awareness for climate change in light of those wildfires.
And here at home, bitter cold temperatures are in store. I'll detail just how quickly these wind chills are dropping another 20 to 30 degrees ahead in the forecast.
As winter storms approach the state line, your trusted weather authority has you covered. With comprehensive severe weather coverage on air, on our app, and on Facebook Live from 13 WREX.
Well, it's a club no one wants to join, but it keeps gaining new members. Extreme Weather Survivors launched less than a year ago, and it aims to provide a support network for disaster survivors. But the group also helps people transform their traumatic experience into a call for climate action. National climate reporter Chase Kane introduces us to a Southern California family who lost everything in the Eaton fire.
The orange tree out front used to match the front door of the Moreno's dream home in Altadena, but not anymore.
We chose to remodel that house to make it a home for our daughters, and it's the backdrop of every memory I was going to have.
Of course, everything that matters I have, and yet, like, I'm staring at the home that we built and the life that we built, you know, and the community, and a lot of that is gone.
But they are hoping to channel this pain into something more positive by joining a group called Extreme Weather Survivors. Basically, it's Americans from all over the country who have experienced disasters like this. So they come together, they can support one another, but maybe more importantly, so that they can use their voices to let other people know this is not just a disaster. This is a disaster amplified by climate change.
Connecting with survivors was something I don't think we knew how sort of like comforting that would feel. And
that it existed, but none of us know what to do.
And I think what's really beautiful is when you start to connect people to one another, where you don't start the conversation with climate change, but instead start with, you're hurting, how can I help? And then people start to understand what we're up against.
Sierra co-founded Extreme Weather Survivors less than a year ago, and in just that short time, the U.S. has experienced at least 23 major disasters, costing upwards of $200 billion and claiming more than 500 Americans' lives.
This is not an individual problem or an individual state problem. We have got to work together. We have to.
Because the Morenos and so many other Americans from coast to coast keep facing the same painful truth that climate change doesn't care where you live or who you voted for.
A beautiful thing about Altadena is the great diversity, socioeconomic, race, political belief, and all our houses burnt down. You know, it didn't care.
We're all impacted. We all were trying to work jobs and trying to build this little life. And so we have to have the conversation. And not just conversations, but say, yeah, I'm willing to figure out what it is that we can do to make this different, change the course.
And here in the state line, we have quite the frigid forecast up ahead as we have an Arctic air mass that is set to just pretty much leave us shivering for the next few days. And that includes today. Now, not really too far from average today. We got up into the middle and upper 20s today. But when you look at these temperatures in the 20s, even some spots sneaking into the teens at this hour, that's way colder compared to 24 hours ago. About 20 to 25 degrees colder from just this time yesterday. Yesterday, Rockford set the daily record high at 54 degrees in the afternoon. It's not that often that we get into the 50s in January. But now we are getting into the other side of January, and that is some bitter cold. It's especially once you factor in the wind. We have current wind chills now in the teens across much of the area, and most spots near and west of Freeport have started to sneak into the single digits in terms of the wind chill. So that's going to be a trend that continues here over the next few hours. So as we see here on Future Track, we'll see that rush of cold air coming in once again. And as we head towards about 8 o'clock in the morning or so for tomorrow, notice these wind chills around 20, maybe even some spots close to 25 degrees below zero. So that's going to be when we see dangerously cold temperatures. So that's why we have cold weather advisories in place area-wide. They take effect at 3 a.m. Now, the different counties have different expiration times on this, but it's really not really going to matter all that much. We're going to be seeing these very cold temperatures for the next few days. So don't really get hung up on those expiration times. We're going to be seeing those temperatures that could cause frostbite on exposed skin in under 30 minutes over the next few days. So don't get hung up on those expiration times there. So tonight we'll see those wind chills dipping down towards -20, some spots even colder than that. And then as we head towards tomorrow, during the daytime, those wind chills only going to get up to about -15 during the day. We will stay below zero in terms of the wind chills throughout the next 4 days or 3 to 4 days. And then notice these nighttime wind chills in the 20s to maybe even 30s below zero in some spots. That's very cold air. We could see frostbite in about 15 minutes once we get down to that territory. So very cold conditions here, and it doesn't just affect us, it affects your home and your car here. So in your home, make sure to keep your water pipes warm, keep them from freezing and bursting, and also be very careful with your space heaters. Make sure to keep them away from any kind of flammable materials. And then in your car, try to keep your gas tank at least half full and try to start it occasionally, especially if you're leaving it outside. And of course, make sure to wear your extra layers and obviously cover up that exposed skin. That's really going to be the important thing really through Tuesday. So be mindful of that with the frigid cold temperatures here. But in your most accurate 10-day forecast, we'll see those temperatures getting back close to, well, at least right on average, and then maybe even next weekend getting back above freezing. But the cloud cover does come back with it. That's a look at your forecast. We'll be right back.
Well, hopefully you're all sticking with your New Year's resolutions, and if you still haven't chosen one, well, how about saving 3 lives? That's what you can do by donating blood just one time. Our Dylan Valencia shows us why it's so important to donate.
Blood. It's something we all need to survive, but yet it's something not created, and so little people give it.
So I think it's something that people don't really think about until it impacts you directly. For example, I never thought about it until my grandpa needed a blood transfusion. You don't really think about where that blood is coming from and that it has to be from a donor. Less than 2% of our community donates blood, while 80% of our community will need a blood transfusion in their lives.
The Rock River Valley Blood Center, looking to raise that number even more.
I enjoy it because I had family members that needed blood, and it's one of those things, where does the blood come from? So it's an easy process, painless.
Mary has been donating for several decades. It's something that she made a part of her routine, and it's also something that can be a part of yours too.
My mom and dad both needed blood, and when my dad was older, he actually had to receive blood every month. So I'm glad people were there to donate for him at that point.
Our local blood center supplies 14 area hospitals. Those with cancer or other issues need blood the most, and you shouldn't wait until the day of a tragedy to donate either.
So the problem with waiting until the day of, while it's still a wonderful thing to come in and donate blood, is we need a couple of days after you donate to treat that blood, to test it, to separate it into its different components, and to make sure that it's good to go.
You might notice when you go to a blood center, a lot of the younger generation isn't there, and we need people donating to fill the shelves.
The majority of our blood donors are over the age of 60. I believe it's even 60% of our blood donors are over the age of 80, which is a very high number.
As a guest, as a parent, I'd like to tell, please try it. We all will need blood, a very strong possibility that we will all need blood at some time in our life. It's painless. It's an easy way to give back to the community, and there's snacks.
And a heartwarming story there, and hopefully you have something to warm you up, because we've got some frigid temperatures on the way with a rush of cold air. It's going to get even colder, so cold weather advisories take effect at 3 a.m. tomorrow. That's when wind chills could drop to the 20s below zero as we wake up in the morning. So make sure to really bundle up if you're heading out, not just tomorrow, but even over the next few days after that, with those wind chills staying below zero through Tuesday and then through Wednesday morning too. So really make sure to bundle up.
Yeah, I'm cold just looking at those numbers.
I know, exactly,
there.
right?
We'll see you back here for 13 News at 10. Good night.
In the morning, every minute counts. That's why we're committed to keeping you informed and prepared.
We are still looking at another potential for stronger thunderstorms.
Breaking news out of Rockford this morning.
And covering communities across the state line.
From Duran all the way to Beloit, Freeport, and Dixon.
This is a live look at NIU and DeKalb.
Bringing you urgent updates and getting you ready for the day with the Morning Rush.
We begin your Morning Rush.
Wake up with 13 News Today, where every minute, every morning counts.